Well, this is John, and this is Jaw 1 doing reflections on part of day 75 and day 76 of reading the one-year Bible together. What I want to do is I want to look at Simeon and Anna. And that really goes from Luke chapter 2, starting at 25. And continuing through Luke chapter 2, going all the way through verse 40. A couple things. First of all, both of these people, in the calculation of Israel and the calculation of the people around them, we don't get the sense that these are the great and significant people. These are people on the margins of their social worlds. And that's a big deal because I think in God's equation, these are very significant people. These are people that recognize before Jesus has proclaimed or done anything, recognize who Jesus is because the revelation of God is on them and is on their lives. And I'm really struck how there are really, when we get to heaven, there's going to be all these people that to God have these significant, intimate relationships with God. And the world, I think, is not going to ever recognize them as really significant people in their time, at least not in terms of the church and spirituality and that kind of thing. But they are people that in their time somehow find their way to do and respond to the will of God. So I was thinking about these kind of people in my own life and thinking about different people that have been expressions of the power and the goodness of God in my own life, and wondering, not knowing really if the world is ever going to give them the recognition that I would personally give them. And so I thought I'd do another shout out of thanks, but these are to people that I think were extraordinary in terms of their engagement of my own life in the name of God. But in terms of the world, I don't think the world's equation is going to really recognize the power of their discernment. I think that every person who's had a praying mother and someone who is faithful to God would want to recognize their mother. And so I want to say, Mom, thank you. But others in my life, I don't think people would really recognize the role of a person like Phil Payne, who chose to be a big brother to me when I was in 6th grade. And I really did everything I could to make life difficult for him. And I made life difficult. And that was really a big deal. Thank you for being there for me. I want to recognize jumping when I was, in college, a woman named Patty McKeon, who lives as a single woman, um, loved her cats, uh, taught me that God can reach our souls through significant aesthetic um, tools like uh, music, especially Bach and Beethoven and Handel, and but also through the arts, the visual arts. And my life is far richer because of my experience of getting to know you. Um, I want to thank Kesia, who, in the midst of her own struggles with um, the storms in her brain um, and challenges with epilepsy and other things, she became very sensitive to the way prayer works and the cooperation of prayer with the human spirit, and quietly learned to minister through the power of the Holy Spirit. Taught me even little things like maybe if I'm turning to a cup of coffee as a drug, I might be trying to numb out from something and made me more self-aware. I want to lift up Mr. and Mrs. Cunin, and both of them rest in peace. They really showed me what a lifetime of witnessing to the glory and the goodness and the faithfulness of God, what it means to be just a normal Christian witness in life. I want to give a shout out to the Lantini family. I know that some of the journey that you've been through has been rough, but early on, you gave me the courage to dream about living beyond what people would call the normal Christian life of just conforming to the culture around me and seeking to live an more extraordinary Christian life. Should give a shout out to Dave Petty in the same sense of someone who really helped get certain core basic truths rooted in my life. And he was willing to be a pastor to this really small church, along with a number of other pastors like Fred Miller and Ed Miller and others. I could go on. There's so many people that this world may or may not recognize. But in God's equation, these small, seemingly insignificant people are full of wisdom and insight and have a tremendous amount to offer and have the discernment of what God is doing in the present moment and are willing to engage the present moment of their lives on God's initiative. We want to shout out to the Cooper family. Thank you for the times you were an encouragement to me. And there's so many others. There's the content of the human spirit and the Holy Spirit and the love of God coming through another person. There's nothing more precious than this. than that kind of time recognition. And yeah, I just want to give honor to those people, because the Bible does. Love you all. Keep the faith.